Commodities and Currencies, Commodities. Torsten, let's talk about currencies and commodity prices, of course, because there is an impact and a correlation and relation. And of course, I want to talk first about US dollar strengths and the weakness of commodity prices. Commodities, as you named it.
Yeah, there's a correlation and a causalization when you see it on the currency side. First of all, US dollar is one of the most important factors watching commodities from a macroeconomic standpoint. Normally a weak US dollar means very good returns on the commodity side, as most commodities are denominated in US dollar terms. So especially for like the euro-based investor, it's good to have like an hedged position on commodities if you expect weakness. What we've seen now during the last weeks is a stronger US dollar mixing to this extent. So therefore the longer term cycle turns bullish for commodities from the currency side. But on the other hand, you also have to watch the producer commodity currencies, for example, Russia or Norway or South Africa.
Interesting. And if you name South Africa, this brings us, of course, to the devaluation of the commodity producer currencies like Norwegian krona, South African rand, due to the last downturn in the commodities. So what's going on here? Give us an explanation, please.
Yeah, it's like with the picture of a snake. So you have a commodity price downturn on the one side, dragging the commodity currencies with it. Also the US dollar strength adding to that in a vicious cycle. So therefore you have, for example, low energy prices in correlation with a very high devaluation of Norwegian krona and Russian ruble. So therefore, if you expect, as in our outlook, higher energy prices, it definitely makes sense also to look at these currencies, because you see like an appreciation in both currencies in regard to oil and gas. Same is true for gold. You've seen this during the last months. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar had a fantastic input for the commodity companies, because their P&L is positively impacted on the currency side. Same for South African rand, even to a higher impact.
I mean, also with the South African rand, that's quite great that you mentioned that, because we saw Sibanye brought, I think 10 days ago, their Q1 numbers out, and Sibanye is the 8th largest gold producer in the world out of South Africa, and I think they had a jump like 38% in their net profits. I mean, why happened that?
Yeah, normally in the context, investors are looking at the top line and seeing South Africa from a macroeconomic standpoint, very hard framework for mining industry, or especially for gold mines. But what investors are probably a little bit neglecting is the fact that this devaluation of a currency, you're getting like hard currency for your output, like gold, PGMs, hard dollars, and you're paying and your costs are normally in local currency. So this makes them at a very high profit margin. And this is a surprise factor for the market.
Perfect. Yeah, so it makes sense to have a look at those companies, right? Great. Torsten, thank you very much for that update. And let's see what happens with the US dollar. It's not always easy to predict, right?
It's one of the hardest things. Thanks, Johan.
Absolutely. Torsten, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Torsten Dennin, the Chief Strategist from Tiberius Asset Management in Zug. And as you saw, commodity prices and currencies are highly correlated and related especially. And weak dollar, strong dollar, that's the question here for the future. We will see what happens also with the oil prices. We keep you posted. I'm your host, Jochen Steiger, in partnership with Dukascopy TV. Thanks and bye-bye from Geneva.